This illuminated likeness of the Virgin and Child exemplifies an Ethiopian Orthodox aesthetic that is a visual method of representation that proceeds from a liturgical purpose. We can see this Ethiopian Orthodox aesthetic in the iconography, in the visual method, and in the format of this illuminated manuscript. Illuminated manuscripts are among the most majestic types of sacred art. This early 16th century manuscript, which was created in an Ethiopian Orthodox monastery, evidences how a devotional purpose is fulfilled in its iconography, visual language, and format. Since the devotional purpose of this manuscript is realized in its method, let's scrutinize how the sacred character of the motif is made visible. Mary and Christ are, of course, both Ethiopian. They are visualized in intense, highly saturated colors of green, purple, red, blue, and yellow. These colors are applied in flat areas with no modulation. The minimal sense of form or volume that we see here is created by black lines. Their forms and the features of their faces are simplified and stylized. They are rendered with considerable nuance and attention to detail. But this attention is to the composition of design and not the creation of pictorial illusion. Mary and Christ are flanked by the sword-bearing archangels Michael and Gabriel. Their wings form an arch of protection or canopy of honor over Mary and Christ. These angelic figures create a visual balance that orients the viewer toward the center of the icon. The result is a spiritual stillness. Instead of reading this icon as a moment within a narrative, we are drawn towards the presence of eternity. The liturgical character of this image is reinforced by the care with which it is treated. Notice that there is a veil attached across the top of the page. When the veil is lowered over the page, it both protects and sanctifies the icon. Since by means of this icon, we are encountering the presence of the holy, we should pause and spiritually prepare ourselves. In lifting the veil, we enter into a sacred realm. For the Orthodox believer, the lifting of this veil would be an act of faith, done with the anticipation that the sacred will reveal itself through the icon. Let's turn our attention to the facing page of this illuminated manuscript. There are 9 images arranged in 3 rows, all depicting figures who are associated with the biblical account of the birth of Christ. Across the top row, we see the journey and adoration of the Magi. Looking carefully, we can see that there are 3 Magi. One of the Magi is older, one is middle-aged, and one is younger. Each Magi is depicted twice. The center row is dedicated to nativity animals and worshiping shepherds. The bottom row includes 2 scenes of the Virgin Mary with her cousin Elizabeth, and there is 1 image of Mary with her husband Joseph. Following tradition, Joseph is an elderly man. As we return to the principal image, the Holy Mother and Child welcome us into their sacred presence. For the Ethiopian Orthodox believer, the iconography, format, and visual language of this illuminated manuscript fulfills its purpose of spiritually magnifying its motif.